What's up everybody? Welcome back to another vlog. So today is the start of this 30-day challenge. I've been up since about 5 o'clock in the morning getting everything ready. That way I can go ahead and start sending out these text messages. And I also scheduled out my text messages over the next couple of days. Now, to give you some insight of exactly what I'm doing is I'm gonna text message 450 leads to see how many deals I can pull out of it. I don't know how many I am gonna pull out, but you know, the goal is of course to pull out as many as I can. I'm hoping that out of these, 450 people, I can pull out at least 4 deals. And what I mean by 4 deals is probably about 4 to 10 follow-ups, and then about 1 really hot lead that's ready to close within the next 30 days. That's what I'm hoping for. The reality is I could get absolutely nothing but a bunch of junk. But I think that I drove well enough that I can, I'm gonna get something out of this. So let's get started. So like I told you before, I got 450 leads here. The total amount of phone numbers, I wrote it down behind me just in case you're wondering, is 2,600 phone numbers. Now we're gonna break this over a span of 4 days. So I'm gonna send about roughly 650 text messages per day, starting in the next 3 minutes. I have it scheduled for 9:15 in the morning. Usually in the morning is good for me. I've also had some good experiences text messaging around 3 o'clock, but usually after 5, I don't really get any good responses. So I'm gonna give you guys a little insight into what I got going on here. I'm gonna grab my camera. I don't know how well you can see that, but I got a couple campaigns ready. I got one for today, one for tomorrow, one for Thursday, one for Friday. Today's Tuesday, January the 5th. Just in case you were wondering, it's 9:13 a.m. Now text messaging is pretty cheap compared to mailing. You know what? Let me bring up the figures just so you get an idea. So if you mail 450 people just one time, it's gonna cost you at least 55 cents just for the stamps. So that's gonna cost about $247 just to send them one piece of mail. All right, and the likelihood of somebody responding off your first piece of mail is about 1 to 2% chance. So at a 2% chance, what is that? Maybe 9 people might hit you back. 9 out of 450. Now, text messaging is different. So I got 2,600 text messages. Cost me about 2.5 cents a text message to send out. So this whole campaign is gonna cost me about 65 bucks. So that means I could text somebody about 4 times. Actually more than that, I think. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's about 4 times. Yeah, for almost 4 times versus sending them one piece of mail. If I sent, text messages 4 times to each person, I would be paying about 260 bucks for the campaign. Now the likelihood of me texting everybody and every phone number that I text being an actual cell phone number is about, I think it's like a 65 to 75% chance. So what I'm actually probably gonna, let me see, I'll actually end up probably sending about 1,950 text messages. I'm gonna give you guys the results of today of how many have gone out and how many people replied, and show you what the cost is. I'm actually doing this on a smaller scale than I usually do. Sometimes I send about 1,000 a day. I have about 5 phone numbers, and each phone number can send about 100 text messages per day. So my total cap right now is 500 text messages. So I'm hoping out of those 650, I can at least send 500 text messages. Whatever doesn't send today will carry over for tomorrow and start on the next campaign. So I'm gonna come back to you guys in a few minutes, or in maybe in an hour, and I'm gonna show you guys who has responded, and by the end of the day I should come back with a total on how many people have responded and what kind of deals or what kind of follow-ups I might have picked up. Now I might give some updates before the end of the day, so just sit tight. I'm gonna see how this day goes and we'll just go from there. All right, so here we are. It's 10:55 in the morning. So after an hour, what is that, like 2 hours almost? Like what, hour 45 minutes? The total text messages that I received back out of the, well, first, before I get into that, the total amount that I sent out. So out of the 650 that were supposed to go out, only 300, what was it? I think it's like 320 were actual cell phone numbers. So the total amount of text messages that went out was 344, and the amount of replies that I got back was 105. So that gives me a response rate of roughly about 30%. So yes, there's a response rate of 30%, but at the same time, you have to look at some of those phone numbers are going to be wrong numbers. Some of those phone numbers are going to, go back to family members, and then of course a bunch of no's that people aren't interested in selling. Which is cool. That's the whole point of this. We're using text messaging not only to find those deals that are ready to sell right now or possible follow-ups for the future, but we're also trying to, I guess, clean up the list to get rid of the wrong numbers, get rid of the people who aren't interested. That way we don't waste our time on those people. We want to be able to get closer to the people who are actually really interested in selling versus continually to hit the same list with the same people, get no responses out of it. So with these responses, what's basically happening is my marketing gets cheaper. So I hit them with the text messaging because it's the absolute cheapest thing I can do first. Then after text messaging, I'll go into ringless voicemail, which is also very cheap. It's like 4 cents. And then my third longest time consuming thing is cold calling. And I say it's long because when you're dialing 2,600 phone numbers, that means it's going to take my cold caller about 2 to 3 weeks to call everybody on that list if we called the whole 2,600. So now, let's say, well, currently I haven't gotten any real leads yet. I don't have any follow-ups. The only thing I got was a bunch of no's. So if we break that down, let's say, the 344, or let's say it was 320 phone numbers that got hit, they responded back with either I'm not the owner, or I'm not whoever, or I'm not interested. Now I just reduced my call time for my cold caller. So if he has 344 less phone numbers to call, that's about almost, 2 to 3 hours worth of phone time. So remember, we're doing this to save money, save time. So we've already done both. So now my cold caller, he's going to come back. Before I send it to my cold caller, I'm going to send out a ringless voicemail. And that's going to reduce it even more. I'm going to get more people that are going to say, hey, I'm not interested. Or I might get some people who are truly interested in selling. Then I can send it over to my cold caller. Now I probably reduced it from 2,600, which I had from the beginning, down to maybe about 1,800 phone numbers, which he can do within a week. So instead of 2 weeks of calling, now I reduced it down for him for 1 week, which is cool. I actually just got a text message right now. Let's see what the, oh, look at that. Somebody say, yeah, the price is 300,000. Hold on, let me see if this is a deal. It probably isn't, because usually these people that come out with these outrageous numbers are not deals at all, but you never know. Some people, they do come out with their numbers, and the numbers are real. So this one in particular, let me see. He says I want 300,000. Where is this at? Regardless of the point, that's how you weed out these guys to see if they're interested in selling or not, or if you got real leads, and also just trimming down. You're basically cutting away at the people that you don't need to target. So yeah, you spent some money, like today. Let's see what the total is for today in text messaging. So I spent $9.68 in text messaging. I'll prove it to you guys by showing you exactly how much I sent and how much it cost me. And then it cost me $3 to receive the replies. I don't know how well you can see that, but 344 text messages that I sent cost me $9.68. And then I received 107 text messages, which cost me $2.99. So we're looking at a little bit over $11 that I spent today, which ain't too bad. I mean, yeah, it's time consuming. I sat here in front of the computer for about 2 hours answering text messages, going back and forth, asking questions, Because I always ask these people, you know, hey, do you know the owner? Or, you know, and I'll put the owner's name. And they'll let me know, hey, no, I don't really know the owner, or whatever it may be. But at the same time, I reduced probably an entire week of call time for my cold caller, which saves me time and saves me money and gets me closer to my deals. And you'll create these, you know, efficient steps for yourself in the future when you start wholesaling. These are not things that come automatically. Like when I first started, I only did cold calling, and that's all I did. I did some text messaging, but I really wasn't consistent with it, and I didn't really build a plan. So that's another thing that kind of like hurt me quite a bit. And you want to build a plan for your, you know, cold calling adventure. Let's jump on the whiteboard real quick. I'm going to show you exactly what I did to send out these text messages, and what type of plan that I have in order to move forward and continue, of course, try to pull out some deals out of this thing. So we have our total phone number count of 2,600 phone numbers. And what we're trying to do is reduce it with every step that we go. So here goes my text messaging. I just reduced it by, I actually don't know how many phone numbers I reduced it by total, but we're gonna say 300 because those are the people that responded and they said they were either not interested or they were not the owner. So let's say by 350, but this could be more because some of the owners who did respond and said they weren't interested, there's more than, you know, like 5 or 6 phone numbers for each owner. Roughly I get the first 5, but if they don't have at least 3 phone numbers, I'll take those first 3 plus all the relatives that came with it. Some skip tracing services provide relatives, some don't. The one I use does provide relatives, and they tell me whether they're dead or not. So if they're dead, I include everybody. So we're talking up to 15 phone numbers. So if some of these people respond and, you know, I can reduce it by 350, now when I go into, you know, my RVM, I might reduce it by another, you know, let's say what, 200 people. Now I'm down almost, that's about 550 people that I just reduced off of this 2,600. I've basically reduced my time because the amount of time, let's say this was 2 hours and this was another, you know, 2 hours dealing with calling backs and, you know, calling people back off the RVMs. There's 4 hours there, and these 4 hours knocked almost a week off of calling time. Now, like I said, today I think I spent like $11 on this. If I RVM 2,600 people, it's probably gonna cost me about, I don't know, like $100 roughly. So $111, then I'm gonna get to, you know, cold calling, and I'm gonna produce deals out of there too. Now, here's the thing about all of this stuff that I'm doing. Certain people will only reply with certain steps here. So some people don't like responding to text messages because there's so many text messaging scams. Some will, some won't. It all depends. You have to hit your seller exactly how they want to be contacted. And how do you know how they want to be contacted? The easy answer, you don't know. You have no idea. That's why you have to try so many different things to contact people, because you could stick to one thing and just go ham with it and stay consistent with it. There's nothing wrong with that. This is the way my system works and how I've been able to close my deals and pick up so many deals. Because, you know, I'll go from texting to RVM to cold calling unless I'm doing something really specific where like I gotta call a certain street. I'll cold call the whole street myself, and I'll just see if anybody's gonna pick up, talk to them, get some information, and see what's going on. But that's kind of like what I'm doing here. I'm trying to reduce how many people we end up cold calling. That way, you know, I spend more time doing something more useful. And that's pretty much it. We're gonna come back later. I'm gonna show you guys if anybody else texts me, maybe if I got any more deals. Another important thing is the text messaging service that you want to use. You want to make sure that if somebody calls your text line, that they come through an actual phone number and not just sit there on your text line and you're unable to even know if anybody calls you. because some people won't even text you back. They'll just straight up call you to see if you're a real person or not. I've had that happen many times, and that's how I've gotten some deals also. The text messaging service I was using previously did not have a way to forward any phone calls from that number to anything. So if anybody called the text line, it just wouldn't go anywhere. So yeah, let's come back a little later, see what the day progresses, and see what else we've been able to do or pull out, and see if anybody calls us, and maybe we can get something rolling out of here. Who knows? All right, so it's about 7 o'clock right now. I'm done for the day. I've actually been done for a while. I've been doing a little bit of market research, and we've picked up some other properties under contract. Nothing out of today's marketing though. So we've sent a total of 362 text messages. We've received a total of 138 text messages. So the daily response rate is around 38%. What we spent is a total of $14.05 in text messages, and that's sending text messages and receiving text messages. Also, skip tracing that 450 leads costed us $88.44. I've got about almost $100 all in on today's marketing, which is not too bad. So let's say 88 for the skip tracing, add another $65 for the text messaging. This whole campaign is going to cost me about $153 between text messaging and skip tracing the list. Now, if I add the ringless voicemail in there, it'll probably be another $100, which would bring me to $253, and then having my cold caller hit it. So for $250, then having the cold caller hit it, I don't know, what he's gonna be able to pull out of there, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna pull out at least one deal. So $250 worth of marketing, is it worth it? I hope so. In the next 30 days, we'll find out, because this week we're gonna text it. Next week we're gonna, send ringless voicemails to it. The week afterward, we're gonna go ahead and cold call it. So it's a whole 3-week process altogether, and within 30 days, I'm hoping I can pick up something under contract. We have picked up some other stuff under contract, but it has nothing to do with today's marketing. It's old follow-ups that we've been following up with, people that have been wanting to sell at the beginning of the year, and we're just hitting them back up to see where they stand at and picking it up on the contract. So I know today was not, hugely eventful. At least you guys got to see exactly what the costs were and what the whole process is. Tomorrow we're gonna repeat the same thing over again. I got a text messaging campaign that's ready to roll and is basically ready to make some money. So we still have to text for 3 more days. Tomorrow's Wednesday, then Thursday, then Friday. Now I am gonna warn you right now. I found out yesterday that I've been exposed to COVID-19. Scary, I know, but I'm hoping I'm not infected. I'm getting tested tomorrow to make sure that I'm okay. So I'm hoping this is not going to delay this, because I don't want to be sick making videos, because that's going to suck. But I'm still going to make the videos anyway. But if I disappear, you guys know what happened to me. I'm done for. But I'm hoping that's not the issue. As of right now, I don't feel any symptoms. So I'll make this a part of my vlog too, to see if I test positive or I test negative. We'll see what happens. Things just happen like that sometimes, I guess. But whatever. It's been a good day. Got a lot done. My phone's going crazy, obviously. That's the whole point. You can't, predict everything. I can't predict anything out of my future, but a massive effort is the only thing that's going to bring me forward. We did close something today, so woo, yeah, it was a clean 35 G's. I'm hoping that next week we can close another deal that I have. That's gonna be another 50, so it'll bring our total to 80,000 for the month, which is fantastic. I've been broke for the past couple of weeks, and this is where all my money's been going to, marketing and basically trying to get these deals closed. Now I do have another monster that we're gonna close, and if we close it, it'll be the largest wholesale deal I have ever done or ever been a part of. And it's well over $200,000 assignment. And I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one, because you never know what could happen. Some type of crazy title issue. This guy probably owes the government $10 million, and it's gonna come up on title because he thought that we weren't gonna see it. stuff like that. You know, I'm not really hoping and praying for. Oh, I'm hoping and praying that I clean it. You know, if I clear that check, boy, that's a nice payday. But if it don't go through, you know, it is what it is. So, you know, some things just don't work out. Just got to keep moving forward. But appreciate you guys for watching. I know this vlog was long, but I hope you guys found some information, and I hope it answered some questions for you. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Let's keep this rolling.